Yeah, just Whit Mick here. Quick update on my, just got my iPhone here. It's got to show you a couple of things. First up, I've got my iPad on the back of my F-truck, and a couple of cars going past here. Just want to show you a few things, but quick update on that bit of a vlog I put up yesterday out at the Whit Cemetery. Now, I've had a fair few hits on it. Actually, I've had, I think, 300 or something hits on it, which normally I don't get many hits. I might get 50 hits on a vlog, and that's about how it goes. There's a little mature wattle tree behind me. But what I wanted to say is, you better see me head. You better see me head, so you know who is here. I had a mate this morning. I was talking to him, and he said, "Oh, geez, I don't know that I would have put that vlog up you put up there yesterday, talking about that Green senator." And I said, "Oh, why is that?" And he said to me, he goes, "Oh, you know, you might get a bit of backlash on that." I said, "No, I won't. And if I do, I don't care." So anyhow, we're going to look at a few different people here. Have a look in the Australian part, federal government, and different politicians we got. First up, we got Jackie Lambie, part Indigenous lady. In my opinion, she's in Tasmania. I wish we had more of her, because she's just a straight shooter and comes across as a really nice person, and I think she does a good job. So this Green senator, I googled it, so I thought I'd better get my info right. Her name's Lydia Thorpe, and she is, I didn't think she was, I thought she must have been Greek or something like that, but she's part Indigenous lady. Doesn't matter, I couldn't care less. I was brought up in a completely non-racist family growing up. It was never even mentioned. I'm a 60-year-old. Like I say to people, I'm not the slightest bit racist at all. Lydia Thorpe, had a bit more of a look at that yesterday afternoon. I wanted to get my facts straight. So she's part Indigenous lady, and Australia's going to a vote later this year, a yes-no vote on an Indigenous voice to Parliament. Now, I actually dropped Linda Burney. She's a Australian Labor Party federal member, and I said, look, I want the facts and the figures and what is actually going to happen, because the last thing you want with the vote, the yes-no vote on the Indigenous voice to Parliament, you do not want it to be, sorry about these cars, you do not want it to be come across as, you got to get the facts and the figures out, the facts and the figures of exactly what's going to happen and what it actually means, because with a lot of misinformation these days, the Australian Labor Party's going wanting people to vote yes. I'm all for Indigenous people. When I was growing up, we used to call Australian Aboriginals. Actually, we didn't call, I never even really thought of it, but went to school with a few Aboriginal people at school. Not a lot here on the Blackall Range. Whether they'd been taken away, what, I don't know. I never got into it that much. To me, it wasn't even an issue growing up in the, when I would have started taking notice in the 70s, it wasn't an issue. I didn't look upon anyone, I didn't even look upon skin colour. And I've got to say, geez, this is a busy road. This is Mountain View Road. I've got to say that we were brought up like that, because some of our best friends, the Millers down the road, big family of English Indigenous, English and Australian Aboriginal, and one of their, Stephen, was run over when we were young fellas, and it was a tragedy. there was 2 boys run over. I've done a story on one. The young fellas, Derek Howard, he was run over, and Stephen Miller was run over, and they were both in the same class at school. And the poor little beggars. Stephen was a nice bloke. And just have a look at this, will you? There is someone has just thrown Jack Daniels cans down on the ground. Bloody disgusting. Now this is at Mary Cain's Cross Park. This is a scenic lookout. Scenic lookout and park of overlooking. I hate this. I absolutely hate it. I worked on the council for many years, and I hated picking up rubbish because guess what? There wasn't a need to pick up rubbish if you don't throw it down on the fucking ground. I'll just pick the rest of them up there in that property. I'll pick them up out of there, drag them back or do something. But anyhow, it gives me the shits. But anyhow, getting back to this. So I'm not slightly racist at all. I couldn't care less about skin colour. Yeah, look at it. I guarantee you they're not full. Yeah, now where was I going with this? Anyhow, she, I don't know whether she thinks, I don't know what she thinks. I wouldn't have a clue. Anyhow, she left the Greens apparently. She left the Greens a while ago, and I didn't know her story. I'd seen her going off like a frog in a sock on the news one night, getting taken. She was at some protest. Now, I don't have a problem with people protesting. Look, sometimes you might have to protest, but you know, you got to do it in a respectful way. And so rightio, here we are again. 7 minutes already. You got to do it in a respectful way if you're going to protest. And at the end of the day, I don't know if people are aware, in the Australian government, she'll spend 8 years in the Senate, as I understand. She could get, I think they can keep getting re-elected, but I'm not sure. But she's got to spend a minimum of 8 years, or anyone has. And if, when you leave, as I understand it, you've got an index pension for the rest of your life after exiting Parliament. Now, most of those people go on to big things. You know, I suppose that, I don't know, they go on to big things. With her, with Lydia Thorpe, which I thought was a Greek girl. To me, she looked Greek. Clearly she doesn't like white men. I would not like her representing any of my thoughts, because I always thought we were not of different races. I always thought we were of the human race. I'm white, that's a fact. I'm a white man. And I got the skin to prove it with all the skin cancers I get cut out of myself. You know, there's, I think, $600 or $550 out of pocket for that last little exercise on my skin. Can't claim that back. I don't care. It's squamous cell carcinoma, so I'll leave them, I'll be dead. Now, getting back to it, me mate, he said to me, "Oh, geez, Mick, you're a bit game doing that." I said, no, not at all, Trigger. I said, Trig, me mate, Trigger. I said, Trig, I don't really care. I said, because I'm not a racist person at all. I don't care about different race. We're of the human race. Some people have white skin like me. Some people have dark skin, black skin. Some people have Asians look different. I got a big nose. I'm of German and Swedish ancestry, so they tell me, with Viking too. And on the Swenson side, Viking, English and German. And on the Vogel side, Mum's maiden name, German, I think. I've got to do a bit of research. But anyhow, getting back to dear Lydia, I have my wife's family have Australian Aboriginal ancestry from the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, and clearly when you see Carl's brothers, you can pick it easy. And they're lucky beggars because they're beautiful skin and they're beautiful people. Lee's first partner, his first son, she's Lydia. She's of Aboriginal ancestry. Her husband John is of Aboriginal ancestry. My wife and her family are of Aboriginal ancestry. I worked with Rory as a grandson of Neville Bonner, Rory Bonner, very Indigenous lad, great bloke. James, I worked with James for many years, Indigenous, beautiful person, one of the most beautiful people I know, and he's right up there with my brother-in-law Lee, is of Indigenous heritage. So what I'm saying is, it really disappointed me that an elected member of Parliament, which has since left the Greens, I don't know the situation there, apparently she wanted to leave, they weren't towing her line or whatever, I don't know. You can easily look her up, Lydia Thorpe. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that, but I just wanted to reiterate that I'm not the slightest bit racist at all. I like seeing all people do well. And I know that bloke, he gets coffee of a morning. I'm not the slightest bit, I just like seeing the human race do well. I'd like to see that war over in Ukraine stop. It's too much life being lost, too much damage to this planet. Blah, 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 blah. I just don't get it. I do not get how people have so much hatred built up within themselves. In Australia, we'd have to be the luckiest bloody country you would ever get. I just kicked this business off here at 57 years of age. I just turned 57. And away I went. I just done it. And, you know, I'm going all right. I'm not making $1 million, but who needs to make $1 million? And there's that. And, you know, I think that in our country, you're not likely to be shot up just for walking down the road, not regularly, anyhow, not often, where some countries you are, you know. And I look at the United States, and to me it looks like a great country, but there's definitely a lot of people die via the gun in the US, but it's not the gun that does it, it is the person behind it, for whatever reason, mental issues, whatever, I don't know. In Australia there's a fair few stabbings, there's bashings and that, but, you know, generally it's pretty good. Look, this is 13 minutes. This is going to take a long time to download and people are probably going to get sick of me, but I'd just like to say, I just wish that lady would pull her head in. We're very lucky in this country. Represent the people that have elected you, and just drop the little dick white man stuff. Look, I always thought 2 inches was a big diddle. That's 50 mil, you know, that's bloody big. And she doesn't need to, you know, I mean, jealousy is a curse. When I was at school, that was the saying. Jealousy is a curse, pregnancy is worse. But look, I'm going to leave with my little shitty little ass joke there at the end. I'm just going to do you real quick, another thing here. Another thing. I hate. Now there's a fig tree there. It's a small leaf fig. It's a strangler fig. Look at that. It's it has wrapped around its host, as you can see, what's left of it. And it's many years it's obviously been grown. That's not a big strangler fig, there's massive strangler figs in here. Well, just before I sign this off, look at this here. The Indigenous used to come up here with bunya nut hunting, and also the first white settlers. Have a look at how thickly bushed this is. This isn't, but there's a common one that generally is around the edge of rainforest, and it's called wait a while because it's got all little grippers on you, and it catches you. Just can't see any here, and I'd show them to you. But just have a look at this here, would you? It's not impenetrable, There's a wait a while in there. It's a caney looking vine. They've obviously pruned them back here so people, because what happens is they've got heaps of little spikes on them and they just wrap around you, and that's where they get the name wait a while, because it takes you a while to get them off. I've seen one in there, but they've obviously pruned them back off the edge of the fence so kids and that don't walk into them and get stuck. But just have a look at it, and there's massive red cedars in here. There's an elkhorn or a staghorn up there. It's a beautiful area. It's actually overloved. That's the problem. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. Like I say, why be nasty to people on this planet when we've got this sort of stuff? I don't know. It's pretty negative. It's pretty negative being nasty. Just look at this setup, would you? Just how exciting is this? Well, just look at this. And I'm just going to watch my hand doesn't get in the road here. But just have a look at this setup. There's me Hustler made in USA. There's me galvanised box trailer made in China. There's me F-truck made in Canada. It's got a heap of galvanising in it, so apparently they tell me, I don't know much about them. I know a lot about the old 351 Clevelands. But this is one brilliant old lorry, and that's English for truck. We don't manufacture a lot of stuff in Australia now, which is pretty disappointing. But I'm just going to show you. There's my steel brush cutter. There's my Oleo Mac chainsaw, steel brush cutter made in Germany. That one, that's one of the good ones, I think. I think it's made in Germany. There's the Oleo Mac chainsaws made in Italy, and the Bush Ranger brush cutter is made in Japan. So we've got very multiple countries of manufacture here with my gear. But I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to touch base with you and just thank everyone for having a look. There's no comments on there, and like I say, it's not about being racist or nasty or anything. I just was pretty disappointed to see that lady, Lydia, carry on like that. You know, she's supposed to set examples for politicians, and you know, being so anti a particular colour of person, you know, that's not looking forward. That's looking backwards, and a lot of injustices were done to a lot of people back in the days. I mean, let's face it, you could get sent to Australia for stealing half a loaf of bread from England. Well, guess what? I reckon they've done you a hell of a favour sending you to Australia. But that's the facts of it. So look, I'm going to leave it at that and just have a think about it. And like I say, thanks for watching my vlogs, and if you could tick a like and subscribe, that'd be great. If not, well, whatever. But just don't get too nasty on it all. Sweno Mick, you all have a beautiful, beautiful day, because I'm going out to mow another lawn, and then I'll probably do another bit of blowing off a roof, and I've got to lubricate a whirly bird that sucks the heat out of your roof. I've got to lubricate that because it's seized up on one of my client's property. So I'd just like to leave it at that. Sweno Mick, you all have a beautiful afternoon. Sweno Mick out.